There you are. Crystal, thank you for posting your amazing meditations and breath work and all that. It's very, very helpful for people. And I know once we get this list done for the humanitarian projects, there's gonna be a lot of people in here, I'm already told. So, all right. So are we ready to get going? You got a notebook, ladies? Okay.
Yes.
Can I ask you real quick, do you have a computer or something for backup to possibly look up things? You don't have to. I just wanted to, don't, Crystal, she's like, what? Oh, good, 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 good. Okay, okay. Allie, how about you, girlfriend? Love it. I love it. Pat, do you have like a backup?
Yeah, I am sitting at my desk. I have two screens. So yes, I am.
Oh, awesome. Okie dokie. All right. So I'm super, super excited to share this with you because I'm going to try and explain this in my own words through the Holy Spirit. I took my gummy before I got on. Like, that's where I'm going. I do my bullets and I'm like, that's how we're going to roll because I think that's the way we need to. So thank you, ladies. I just wanted to state my name is Sharon Kasleka for people that catch the replay. And I feel very, 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 very grateful to have been taught Gematria from the best of the best. And oh, Jessica. Oh, she's just a breath of fresh air. I love her energy. Let's just wait for her. So, hi, Jessica. I'm right in the middle of doing my whole thing. How are you doing? Are you there? Can you unmute yourself real quick, Jessica? Do you have a, oh, I just wanted to make sure if you have a pad of paper, maybe a backup phone or computer where you could do a little decoding type of a thing, that would be amazing, but not necessary. So people can catch the replay and kind of do this on their own. Does that make sense, ladies? Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I'm just going to reintroduce myself. Hi, Jessica, that beautiful earth angel. My name is Sharon Kasleka, and I'm just stating it for the record for the replay in the future. So this is a gift to me. And when I say that, it has actually kept me around. And I know for some people, they'd be like, what? When I explain what gematria is, it's gonna be like, and it's gonna expand your thinking. Like, I already know we are a bunch of spiritual people in our group. Oops, sorry. And it's just gonna like take you up to like 20 gazillion levels, and you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is like the coolest stuff, and it was in front of us all along, and I can't believe it, so it's gonna blow your mind. But I do want to state for the record, I encourage everyone to be open-minded on this, because there may be some things that I talk about that may be touchy for some people. And yes, it does have to do, I hope she's okay. It does have to do with politics. And I think a lot of us on this feed right now are realizing this is literally a spiritual war of good versus evil. Would you all agree? Raise your hand if you agree. Okay, I love it. You're my people. So a lot of people, and I'm not going to touch too much about this. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I hope not to, but it brings it all together. So I made a few notes just so it's like my whatever you want to call it. I've never been officially diagnosed, but it's the energy in me. Okay. So first off, I am going to mention that gematria is literally going to be the missing link for everyone to connect the dots on what's really been happening in this world. And I want to encourage you, keep an open mind, because I'm going to share with you how gematria / numerology is like your own personal tarot. And when you start going through it and learning the rules, which are pretty basic, and what I'm going to do after this is underneath the video that I'm going to post, I'm going to post some extended ways to do gematria with rules. There's all types of people. For me, what resonates the most with me is that I like to read through the local news, national news, um, all entertainment. Like years ago, I didn't even realize I was decoding without the gematria. Um, hey, Alyssa. Um, so where was I? Yeah, I didn't even realize that I was already decoding. And what I mean by that is connecting the dots. We've seen so many movies. Guys, I'm here to tell you, your entertainment and your music, everything, your commercials, your news, everything, as we know, is scripted, but it's not scripted the way that you think. I want you to think of those like movies, like the Comic Cons and the people like going, oh my gosh, they're leaving clues. This is what it's about. It's a clue dropper. And it's like when, you see in the movies, like someone's like, oh my gosh, like it's on that street. Oh, it's what's that geo tracking? It's like geo tracking, but up here. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Where geo tracking, they leave clues and so forth. And that's what this is. And I'm going to share with you. So what I'd like to do is, if you have any questions, please write them down and I'll definitely take them in the end so I can kind of stay focused here. But everyone's going to need to learn gematria. And we were told straight from the top, it's time to share gematria because everyone's going to have their own niche. And like I was saying earlier, I had mentioned what I do. When you learn it, you're going to end up finding your little niche. It's like your passion. It's like those little glimmers in you. And you're like, that stuff interests me. That's my stuff. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So some people may be very, very passionate about astrology and so forth. Boom, boom, boom. They're going to start connecting dots. Someone may love, and I'm just using this as an example, like the WWF, like as crazy as that sounds, it just popped in my head. But like the wrestling and all that, there are gonna be people that are gonna be like, holy shit, I can go back to these and I can decode. Now, what I'm about to share with you is gonna blow your mind. And I want you to keep an open mind because you're about to find out everything that I'm mentioning is absolutely 100% true, and you're all about to find out very, very soon. So many of you have heard of the QAnon movement. And instantly, everyone is programmed to be like, these dogs, blah, blah, they're so crazy and they're conspiracy theorists and blah, blah, blah. It's annoying. I just lost another friend whom I considered very close. I even helped her find her own salon and she got herself back on track. Found out she unfriended me because she's like, I don't understand all this Q stuff and all that. She goes, I looked into it. I'm like, it's because you're not being taught properly. So this intertwines with it. And I want you to pay attention to the news. And it's all connected. Fake news is scripted. There's a lot in my own personal opinion. Jesus, you're going to find out Jesus is a real person, like very soon. I want to encourage you to write this down. You will find this on Telegram and Rumble. It is called the Jesus Strand 1 and 2. And it is General Flynn's team of people that talk about what the real war is over. And it's over the Christ DNA. And
Okay, repeat that. The Jesus what?
get out of my hair. The
Yes,
Jesus Strand 1 and 2.
Okay.
And it is a breakdown of the story, the truth about Jesus, and that JFK, Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, President Trump, JFK Jr., Princess Diana, there's a lot of others. They all had the Christ DNA in them. And I just want to encourage people that are skeptical, be open to being open because this is part of the Great Awakening for people. And we hear it. See, this whole great military movie, and it is a military movie. I have posted in the video that I posted on my interview with Jill Wood. I've been leaving breadcrumbs because that's what we're taught to do and what I have learned. So if you look at some of my posts, there are going to be people in the future that are going to be able to like decode that within itself. But there's a term that President Trump says a lot. And I believe I posted that video underneath my Jill Wood interview. And it's about how God speaks to us in numbers. Numbers break down to letters. Letters create sentences and so forth. Central casting, he says it all the time in the news and what that actually means. And he says it right there. He's like, I'm casting the biggest military movie and you're in it 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 right now because we all are in one. Our gadgets, as we know, were spy devices. And I don't know about you, but when I found that out and I had the bathroom in on me, when I had a bellyache in the toilet and like doing everyone's got, that's going to be their humble pie. It's like, and I've mentioned, I'd like to use this as an example is, and they do this on purpose where, you know, like on the Housewives, they're all like, and she's like, yeah, you did. And then they rewind it. That's how this is going to be playing out for a lot of people, because that's going to be their humble pie on how they've treated people, how they've let their egos get in the way and arrogance and so forth. And this is how they're going to find out. So, so I feel very, very honored. So Jill Wood, I left clues right underneath our video. And what I mean by that, and this is the part that's going to trip people out, okay? So bear with me, because in like probably a month or so, you'll be like, oh, telling us, how'd she stinking know? Okay, so, this is a big one, so hang tight. So I learned Gematria through a channel. I think it's closed off now. I think it's closed off. It's called on Telegram, Negative 48. Have any of you heard of Negative 48? Can I have a raise of hands if anyone has, just so I have an idea? No one. Okay. This is going to blow your mind. And again, it all aligns not 50% or 60% or 70%. It aligns 100%. So Negative 48 is going to be someone very prominent. And I'm going to use this as an example. And I think I shared this in one of my last Zooms on teaching Gematria. Is think of Jennifer Aniston, okay? Jennifer Aniston plays many characters. Do we not agree? Like, she's Rachel in Friends, and then she's in movies and all that. I'm just using this as an example, okay? Because I want to expand your mind that literally, it's like layers upon, this is the art of war. The art of war literally is layers and expansion and like, holy shit, this was in front of me. This is like gonna be the coolest game for everyone to learn. So Michael Brian Prodsman / Negative 48 is a mask. Think Mission Impossible. Now, one thing I'm going to share with you, and it's going to blow a lot of people's minds, is that I want you to think now from this point on is that you've been in one giant spy movie, and that's why they create spy movies. And you see people sitting on the benches and like they look like everyday people. That really happens. That really happens. And that's exactly why they always have it in the movies, so that when the truth is told very soon, they're going to use all of your entertainment throughout the television so that it resonates with every generation. Now, have you noticed that Jesus and Satan made a deal with the devil? And this is my theory. We all know that Hollywood is a bunch of pedos and this and that, right? Human traffickers, P. Diddy list, their houses are burning down. We could go on and on. I have my own theory, and I think I'm right. We're going to find out that a lot, I have two theories. I have one that they are real people, a real person, but then I want you to separate that and think of masks. Now, masks are very real. I didn't believe it at first. What you're about to find out is President Trump, everyone in your politics and so forth, most of them are masks. And I know it sounds crazy because I thought the same thing. Now, and if you want, I can share backup videos underneath this because they're literally seeing who is paying attention. And what I mean by this, and I'm just going to throw some examples out. Do any of you remember the Democratic convention party where Michelle Obama goes up to the stage? Did any of you hear the rumors of that? This is how central casting works. They're putting things in front of people. And it is a joke. And I know a lot of people are like, that's the most horrible thing you could ever say. I'm just telling you, there's way too much evidence, and a lot of people have already put it on record. Michelle Obama is standing up at the podium, and she has a necklace, and you can go right to it. You can go look it up and zoom in. She has a necklace that says Mike. The nickname of her in Pedoland is Big Mike. We'll leave it at that. Here's another example. When Jimmy Carter had his funeral, everyone in a lot of people that are awake and realize, oh my gosh, Melania's not all done up. What's going on? Like, you know how she's usually so stunning and she's got her hair. Oh no, it was pulled back. But people that pay attention think of it as a giant spy movie and like the geo-tracking and leaving the clues and all that. If you do your own research and you look on her collar, you will see she has a picture of JFK and JFK Jr. on her collar. This is going to blow people's minds. I understand if they leave the group, I think it's going to be a big mistake because everyone's going to have to learn gematria. So I'm just leaving you little cues and clues. That's why they call them cues. So when I hear people are like, oh my gosh, that's a good crazy QAnon conspiracy, I'm like, let's start at JFK's burial site. We all have the same tools. Go type in JFK burial site. There's a giant Q on it. Matter of fact, if you look at a lot of videos that, okay, we all know that the Illuminati, it has their signs and symbolism. I see it everywhere, guys. I see it everywhere in Utah. I saw it in New Hampshire. When you know what to look for, this is why my brain goes like this, because I see a lot when people aren't, we all have our special gifts. This just happens to be mine. Does that make sense? Like everyone has like just, I love this group of women. And a lot of the women in our group and the men too. Where was I? Shirt. Oh, that I see things. Okay. So I want to encourage you, go backtrack. Oh, Illuminati signs and symbolism. So they have their signs and symbolism, but so do the good guys. And it's like the white hats versus, that's why there were cartoons made about this. You can literally go on your children's TV shows, look at the titles. They have come up with a very creative, imaginary way. It's like The Simpsons. People don't take cartoons serious because the topics they talk about are serious. So the program is that they needed to find something that caters to the general public who remember these things. And then when they go back and listen to it and they listen between the lines, they are literally telling you that shit's about to go down. This is the Great Awakening. We are living in, I know things are just so stressful and everyone's just like, oh my God, it's going to be a beautiful new world. And you just have to watch it all unfold. And I'm excited for each and every one of you, because if any of you, and I was told to share this with you, that when the time is right, it will probably be within the next year. If any of you have a passion project, a humanitarian project, we're all being tracked. They already know it. Anyone, and if people want to laugh, I'll be like, bye, have a nice day, because you're going to need me to explain this to you. And I don't mean to be a jackass. But the cues and clues are everywhere. And he always does the airdrop of a cue. And now you're starting to hear it more in the news. That's part of central casting. It's brilliant. I see right through the script. And they're literally pre-programming people's minds to hear that term. Matter of fact, there was a clip with Pete Heggs, the guy that was on trial. They were talking about the QAnon. No, not him. It was the woman that was on the news today where they're interviewing her and one of Trump's people. And I apologize to the people in advance if they're like, she's just Trump, Trump, Trump. No, I'm trying to share what is about to happen with all of you. This is the art of war. It's creative and so forth. But they said, they're like, what's this QAnon and stuff? See, I want to train your brains to read layers and layers and layers between every, you don't have to be like me, but I'm just like, pause, pause, like I can already tell you what's going to happen here in Utah. We'll put it that way, but to a degree. But I want you to listen deeper and deeper. Don't look at it as surface. Sometimes you even have to turn away and you have to listen to the words, because the deal with Satan and Jesus was just like, this is how it's going to be. We literally should have already been wiped out, because the tunnels are everywhere. And I can tell you right now, if anyone wants to challenge me on that, I'll be like, I got all the original mining maps here in Utah, and there's some big ass secrets in there that most people don't want to know. And sorry if I got defensive, but I'm just tired of people going, that's just. Now, I want you to think outside the box of all the sayings we grew up with. Everything happens under your feet. Think about that. So think of this as one giant movie from the beginning of time. Everything had to be scripted. And yes, Jesus has movie producers and editors and all that. You're going to find out who he is. Trump always points to him in a mask. I'm going to bring it back to the -48, the Michael Bryan Prodsman. He is, and I have him on my phone. He's probably listening right now. That's JFK Jr. in a mask. And Trump directly points at him. And when you type in exactly what he just said, pointing to him, and he's done it plenty of times, I left breadcrumbs in the Jill video. The guy who's like, you're not ready for it, that is him. And they're checking to see who's paying attention now, because there's a lot, they do it on purpose to see who's paying attention. Think of it as a mind game, the biggest fucking mind game in the world. I love this stuff, because they're testing people's eyes. They're testing people's observations to think outside the box. You will see there are government officials from like back in the 60s. And I have all those videos too. And if you type in their name and all that, you compare the, literally, it's the biggest movie. And they're telling you masks are very real. Masks. She was the head of something in government, and I forget, but basically what she's saying is masks are very real. And they tested George Bush and had a mask in front of him to see if it's way beyond bigger than what anyone can imagine. Now I want you to think of behind the scenes. The reason why they created behind the scenes is so you can see what God's warriors have been doing behind the scenes in masks. And you will see the lips, you'll see ears coming out, you'll see little ear holes if you see people's heads turned. You see it all. This isn't made up. This is real. So I feel very, very blessed. This is my gift to share with people. And what I mean by that is I've literally been on a live podcast with JFK Jr. the day after my birthday. And he's the one that teaches us the Gematria. So I'm trying to set the stage for you to understand, like literally, it's crazy as it sounds. It's happening, and it's happening with or without anyone. But I want you to think about it from a biblical standpoint, because we all know we're in biblical times. What if the truth is told just point blank in everyone's face? People would be like this. They'd be like, do you know what I'm saying? Human trafficking, adrenochrome is very freaking real. I don't want to hear anyone say that it's not. I say, go do your homework, because you're going to feel awful. Everything has been scripted since the beginning of time. Now, this was such a genius plan with Jesus and Satan that literally they had to do everything in tiny steps. Think about this, like thousands and thousands of years. Tunnels. They had to prepare their tunnels so that human trafficking could not be seen in the public. Do you see where I'm going? I mean, I'm talking about some serious stuff, but what turns a good movie? What turns so much pain and sadness into something funny? You got to come up with a godlike production, and everyone's in it. And like I said, it's from all of your entertainment. It's from all your newspaper clippings. Now people are going to understand why some people, literally, you thought that they were hoarders. they have the capability, a lot of them, to literally know some way, somehow, there's something about this. Any freaking newspaper title, people will be able to decode it with Gematria in that exact time, what was happening behind the scenes. And I have proven this to a friend out here, telling her about Gematria and everything. And she's very much, excuse me, she's very much into this stuff. And she goes, but I don't know how it works and this and then. I'm like, seriously, watch this. And I've said this many times, but I thank the military when I see the adorable little old men with their retired hats on, and I thank them for their service. And I say, and I looked at him with my friend Sandy up here, and I said, is Gematria real? And he seriously took a step back, and he's like, it is 100%. I'm like, there you go, Sandy. There you go. And what it is, I want you to think about this. If people knew about Gematria, if people knew about how to decode movies and so forth, just like they show you people doing it in the movies all the time, they're doing it to pre-program your brain. And what I mean by that is, how can I explain this? I'm trying to set the tone so people can really start thinking like, holy shit, like this is really happening. You know what I mean? So every single piece had to be scripted. But how do you turn into sorrow, pain, and sadness? You turn it into a freaking fun, hilarious, good humor, and flip it. Now, what I mean by that is they're going to take bits and pieces from everything that you've grown up with, movies, favorite taglines, and so forth. Like, you can't handle the truth and all that. Evil, a lot of the Rothschilds and so forth, they own a lot of the Hollywood companies. My personal belief is Jesus and his godlike production warriors are in masks. Think about it. If we didn't have entertainment, I want you to think about this hard, people. We did not have entertainment. What do I mean by entertainment? I mean your music. I mean your dance. I mean your movies, your TV shows that have been our babysitters our entire lives. We're no different than our children being on the phone. It's just a different technology. Does that make sense? Any of you? Okay. So they're going to grab all of these bits and pieces from movies and they're going to turn it into a movie for you. They're going to show you a lot of scary shit. But how do you offset that? You turn it into, this movie is going to be your new Bible, so to speak. Does that make sense? When they compile all this stuff to explain what's been happening without many of us knowing, it's going to be freaking art of war. That's the art of war within itself. Think about that. That's like genius that they were able to do all this. So my take is Jesus made a deal with the devil and this is my own take. Anyone can do what they want, but he's like, we're going to make a deal with you because if we don't have entertainment, this is like literally everyone would realize that they are modern day enslaved. We have already been taxed on everything that comes through our door. I believe in local state taxes, but President Trump just announced there won't be any IRS. Think about that. Think about how that alleviates so much pain for people. Think about it. I really want you to think about it. It's going to blow your mind. He also talked about med beds. How many of you have heard of med beds? I just want to raise a hand so I know the audience I'm dealing with. Okay, cool. Alyssa, I can't see you, but I know you know because she knows things. She's adorable. Okay, so he made a comment not too long ago, and I've got it too. And so they're throwing this stuff out to see who's paying attention. So I'm going to share a personal decode of my own. So I'm going to kind of start getting into this. I want you to think of it like a Mission Impossible movie. That is why they created that movie. Because what are they doing? They're fighting bad guys. Do you get what I'm saying? Without sounding too crazy, because I know it sounds crazy. How many of you think it sounds crazy? Or you're still like, okay. Allie's like, I don't know.
I agree and don't think you're crazy at all.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to help people wrap their minds around this because it's so big. the average person can't wrap their head around it. And that's why I have been very secluded, so to speak. And I think Crystal, I shared my interview with you on what happened to me back in New Hampshire. Okay. There's a big time guy. He's a truth teller, and he's part of, I can tell you exactly who's playing central casting and who's not. And what I mean by that is Ishmael Perez. So he interviews with like the David Wilcoxes and so forth. I told him my experience back in New Hampshire, what happened to me. My family doesn't even know, you guys. It's like fucking scary shit. And I have all the proof to pack it up. I document everything. That's how my brain works. Space Force freaking loves me, I'm telling you. Because they're watching everything you're typing. And we all know it. We all know it. We all know it. I'm not going to go there. Never mind. I'm not going to say, never mind. But yeah, so think of it as a Mission Impossible movie. And I want you to start looking around you because they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. It's just like the park benches and those men sitting in the malls, good and bad. Like, do you get where I'm going with this? Like, you would never know. Because God's warriors had to keep us protected without knowing. And when I really wrap my head around that, I just want to break down and cry because I'm like, this was just so beautifully scripted. I don't even know how to like explain it. But here's my own personal decode, and I want to use some of these as an example. Here's one, Johnny Depp. I know someone who acts and talks just like him. But anyhow, with everything that I just told you, I'm just going to use him as an example. He's totally a mask, but he's a character. So this is how things are going to transpire. And but now that you know what's happening behind the story, now a lot of the main storylines, and I know this is going to blow people's minds, but I need you to think outside the box again, is think of horror movies, okay? What was the real purpose of them creating horror movies? Anyone? Anyone have any guesses? Crystal, she's like, I don't know.
So we would get used to blood and gore and scary things, I guess.
And that, exactly, because it's really happening behind the scenes. Think of the movie Saw now. Think of that. I know it's hard to hear. This is this kind of stuff that people like us, we've been like, oh my gosh. My point is they're using it. Does that make sense? They're gonna use it to help explain it because if they show you all the real graphic stuff, again, there are specific words that he says. The ending won't be for everyone. Where we go one, we go all. And if you're spiritual, you already know we're on the positive timeline. I hope y'all know that. We're on the positive timeline. So don't let those negative thoughts get in the way, okay? But the people that are not awakened and spiritually, that's why I love the spiritual community. You just already know because you kept hearing it within your Christ DNA. Your Christ DNA, it's scientifically proven. It's the laminin protein. They don't teach it in schools. That is your intuition. That's no different than Jesus speaking to his, people getting downloads, as we call them now. Now think about software. Software. Bill Gates, he picked up the term. He could have picked any word. Millions and millions and millions of words. Why is this guy with computers creating a virus? Think of your mind as RAM space. They're already pre-programming people to be programmed to the new truth, the real truth. You also have your RAM. You have your downloads. You have your upgrades, which means we are ascending. There's so much symbolism within the art of war. So I'm just going to cut to the chase on one of my personal decodes is my awakening, my true awakening. And I feel like we've all microdosed, because if we just go it all at once, we'd be like, you know, but anyhow, I digress, as I like to say. But when I lost my dad, I already lost my mom, and I've been verbally abused my entire life by my own sister. I've never really had a sister, and I know that there are so many people out there that can relate. You're just having people like, ever since you were a kid, you're like, why are they just so mean? Like, why are they so mean? And just like they were planted in our lives to be stronger for literally right now. You are the chosen ones, all of you. We're all the chosen ones that are awakened. And it's our job to help awaken people as best as we can without forcing things and so forth. This is the link. Gematria is the link to connect everything. We've already been told. But anyhow, I was just in a really deep funk, like, just like, shit, that's it. My dad worked his whole life, and he was a really good man, and that's it. You know, I was just questioning everything. So I started revisiting John Denver music, and that's part of my awakening process, because literally the songs, rhymes, and reason, and how it goes. So you speak to me, coming on the winter. He literally predicts. This is how my activation happened. Heard that he says the towers falling down and saving the children, basically, meaning the Twin Towers. Think about that. He passed in 1997. Do you get what I'm saying? So then I'm like, holy shit, did John Denver just predict the Twin Towers falling down? You know, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just started expanding my mind. And literally, I was like, I felt like the person in the movie that was decoding, you know, like those movies where, like I said, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, you gotta go to that street. You're in the picture frame and all that. But my point is in your news, even in your news, street names where people are standing by, they are giving you background information. So I just type in the titles, or I end up listening to what the cast is saying. And I want to encourage you. Box 13 knows things. Alyssa, can you mute yourself? I love you. Fox 13, that Dan Evans, I should know his name because I decode all the time. He's dropping Q bombs left and right. He even does the Q hand. But if I could share, if anyone wants to learn more, I can share this. But he drops things and I put it in and I'm like, how would Utah pop up? That's interesting. And just, it works like this. And what it becomes is, and I want to encourage you, it's like a storyline. You know how, like, when you read a book, they're building up the narrative and so forth. That's what Gematria is. And the message is for you to decode, unless you can already decode through what they're telling you of something that you're looking up. Does that make sense? Like, because you're going to do your own of what you're hearing. Hey, and then you're going to do the decodes of all. Like, some of you are like big into astrology and so forth. I want to encourage y'all to keep digging deeper. Like, when you hear something, the best codes that I get is when I hear it. I hear it through the Holy Spirit, and literally I type it in and I'm like, holy shit, it popped up to my number 420 again out of millions of algorithms. And like, it comes to 420. That's why Jill and I were talking about our 420s in the video that I did, because you'll learn more. I like to leave breadcrumbs, but I digress. So here are my decodes, and this is how my brain works, and this is how I want to encourage other people to listen between the lines, because something's supposed to trigger them. Something is supposed to trigger something in each and every one of us. The movie itself is a program. I know that's hard to explain. I want you to think the big picture of everything I just told you. It's all a program, and you're all being tracked. It's like you're all little superheroes inside. It's crazy. I know, and it sounds it, but that's how it works. So something's going to trigger something in everyone. Anyhow, so fast forward, I ended up getting the community thinking tank idea literally from the Oh God movie and the Oh God 2 movie. I like literally meshed the ideas together, and there was a reason for it. And I know our thinking tank isn't taking off. It's gonna, I already heard it, it's gonna happen soon. You got the fires, you got North Carolina, you got Ohio derailment on the train. Like, people don't realize, because they wanted to keep you in this cube, so to speak, so that you couldn't think outside the big picture. Does that make sense? So we all know everyone's suffering. And freaking people still, and I say this with an open heart. I had a girlfriend remind me, I'm like, and then I put it busy. I'm like, no, horrible. They're saying they're too busy. They need to adjust something in their life, because God did not put us on this. Oh, excuse me. Mother Earth, beautiful. I was about to sweat. But what I'm saying is, he did not put us on this earth to work 5 to 7 days a week. Think about that. It got normalized over history. Do the right thing. It's all scripted. They literally wanted you to be enslaved by their financial system. It's just like beaner counters, you know, like when you have these big companies and they look at liabilities and they're like, and they do the numbers and all that. That's literally what this is. And so here are my decodes. I'm going to end up updating. I'm just going to leave this here because I'm being told that I should share this, that I have some older videos posted on communitythinkingtank.com. I want to encourage you to go listen to what I've said. Please revisit it. That came from right here. And I know I've been told by some big people the plan that I have is the plan to bring the communities together. Because I constantly say, it's not a business. It's not, there's nothing in it for me. Nothing. Because my freaking heart is so strong. I'm like, I gotta get the ball rolling. This is the way. 5 months, 5 hours a month. And everyone needs to do the right thing and start inviting their friends, so that the first thing that we're going to end up working, and this is all over the world, guys. This isn't just here. The point is no one knows. You need one, it's like freaking evil Google. You needed one platform that everyone would go to, so that literally they could type everything into their algorithm, so you're all being tracked. But my point is, you need it for good too. So everyone's like scrambling, like, oh my gosh, I want to send money to, now California. But we all know there's so many scams out there, and there's evil people out there taking advantage. You don't know. But if you create a community thinking tank in every city and state around the world, can you imagine? Holy shitballs. That's your new news, guys. That's my download. So I want to encourage you to listen to those videos. They're very quick. They're like 5-minute videos, and just a few of them. So here's my decode. And I think masks. So when my dad passed, I started reading through the lines. I started revisiting John Denver interviews, and I didn't realize how much he did politically in space and so forth. Matter of fact, there's a song called Flying for Me, where literally he tells you in the beginning at one of the concerts, he's like, I want you to think the big movie, okay? He said that he is the one that created the civilian Space Force program, and that the Challenger, which hits home to me because I grew up in New Hampshire and Christy McAuliffe was there, and her name's Sharon Christy McAuliffe, and it comes to 420. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But my point is he said, I was supposed to be the one to go up in the Challenger. And he's like, but Ronald Reagan, sent a teacher at the last second. He's on record saying that for a reason. He's connected to the big picture. And the rumors are that he's part of the Christ bloodline. I know it's going to blow people's minds, but this is how my mind works. I'm getting to my JD codes, and I'm not going to even bring the numbers into it, because sometimes you don't always you need the numbers to plop it in, but then you listen to the words and the sentences. That's how it truly works. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. So I revisited a lot of his interviews, because what he talked about, Mother Earth cleaning her up. you know, stop changing the frequency of the music. They even knew back then, if you go back to his interviews going on Capitol Hill, it mentally scrambles people's brains. It's the frequency, and they know it. Stuff like that. And he was so, you know, Calypso, you know, with Jacques Cousteau. Some of you are way too young, but like literally, he was showing you how Jacques Cousteau learning about the ocean and so forth. And then he also his beautiful singing and the words, he was telling you messages. And he is just like John Lennon and many of these characters. They are a representation of Jesus Christ. And I know it sounds crazy, but there's truth to it. He's speaking from a standpoint of it. So I received my downloads from on the Community Thinking Tank through the Oh God movie. I want to encourage you all to revisit it. They did a beautiful job. It's for all ages, and it holds true to what's happening right now. And my point is, so think, oh God. Next, and these are my own decodes. Next, I want to encourage you, go look up on TikTok, the oh God particle in Utah. And go look. There's a woman actually from Utah. I think she's got like a little beanie hat or something. You guys, shit is going down in space that people don't even understand. So you got the oh God particle that comes down over one of the mountaintops out here, right? And then you have, hold on. There's an interview. I'm just leaving breadcrumbs. There's an interview of him with Geraldo. I think it was somewhere, it's a full interview. It's like a full show one. And these are cue drops, guys. He ends up saying Gematria. I'm going to just say Gematria because Gematria is a military program of God's language. I just want to set that for the record. So, oh God particle. Oh, in his interview with Geraldo, and you can't make this stuff up, you guys. He ends up, he was talking about Colorado, and then Geraldo. This is all, think big picture. He's giving clues to people. He's like, oh, some call you the poet laureate out in Colorado, and this and that. And he specifically says, yeah, some people come up to me and ask me when I'm going to sing a song about Utah. And he's got like this little smirk, like I go to secret kind of a look. And it's adorable. But then you've got that. But then you also have, wrote this down because I'm trying to give you an example of how to connect dots. So when you listen to a lot of his music, he's basically telling you what's really happening behind the scenes. So when you listen to your music now, I think music got really shitty the last decade because it's that high frequency, that shit that your kids listen to, and they say the word pussy and all that, and you're like, gosh, that's music. It's awful. You know what I mean? Good decodes are from before. I'd say probably after Kurt Cobain died, like, I don't know. So start listening below the like every time. I want you to think of Sharon's voice in your head going, go deeper. What's the deeper meaning? They're trying to tell us all something that's happening behind the scenes, how things work in the universe and so forth. It's just like your, even, I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it. President Trump's people tell you that there is more truth in the freaking shows that we all love, like about ancient aliens and all that. That's where people are going to get a lot of their true knowledge. Just saying. So all the people that think that he's an asshole or whatever, and that literally, you know, he's just an evil orange man that grabbed a pussy. I'm like, well, I'd rather have a guy that grabs a pussy that like then like touches and diddles little kids and rapes them and have panda eyes and all that. So go away. But I digress. I shouldn't have said that, but it's just they gotta wake up there, and they're not gonna have a choice now. So yeah, just keep going deeper, deeper, and deeper. Do any of you have any questions about this? How the gematria is the easy part. I needed to explain what's really happening out there. There's a reason why there's a camera everywhere, everywhere. It wasn't just for people's safety. I want you to write this down. I want to encourage you to watch this movie. It tells you everything you need to know. It's called The Circle with Tom Hanks in it. And not a lot of people watched it because they didn't want you to watch it. And it's loosely based on Mark Zuckerberg, and that the CIA came to them to create. Do you see with that example how I explained how deep this is? Do you see how they needed to create entertainment so it would pre-program people's heads to not freak out when they hear the real truth? Does that make sense? Do you kind of get where I'm trying to go, why it was created? Can you give me a raise of hands just because I can't, like, I just want to know where everyone is. Okay, cool. So you're getting it. I love it. I'm so glad because God told me you got to try to explain it as simple as possible without going down the rabbit hole too much. But okay, so are we ready? Oh, okay. I want to give us some homework. You're going to be really excited. Okay, here's a big zinger for you. So what a lot of people don't realize is George Magazine is actually a big sting, knowledge, truth. Here we are, decode it. I'm telling you military secrets type stuff. George Magazine was created to do that. And for people that are truthers already, I'd love to encourage you to look up Tom Numbers. He's my buddy. He was supposed to come see me in Utah, but he was flying around Rushmore and all that and hanging out with Mr. T. And like he interviews those guys, those actors from like Harry Potter and stuff like that. So he's totally central casting. And just remember that I said that because I'm just telling you, he's central casting. And Right Side Blonde, she's really good. She is she works for George Magazine. There's another guy I want to encourage you because I want to open people's minds to, we've all gone down our own rabbit holes. Now it's time to go down other rabbit holes to expand our mind. There's a guy on TikTok called Gene Ho. He works for George Magazine. He's been the photographer and videographer. And he gives you all kinds of decodes. And literally, so I've been doing this for years on decodes. And it was just a matter of time for certain things to happen. But they all came true. And you get the truth from the Gematria and these posts. So remember what I said, Illuminati likes to talk with signs and symbolism and satanic symbols and all that and code words. Because if you put up in big letters like human trafficking, we've got children, come and stop by, people would see that. So you got to come up with like signs and symbolism. So I want you to also think of, again, the good guys. And the George Magazine is the perfect example. And what I'm about to tell you, in the audience that listens to this down the road, I'm going to say one of my favorites. And I say this in a joking way because God told me you got to have a sense of humor because people are going to think you're an asshole. I'm like, I told you so. 155. And JFK Jr. wears a t-shirt that says that. Like, you got to track everything. You will find those t-shirts. They were literally telling you things even before. Like, even in your commercials, I can see how they're going to flip it to be something funny for the White Hats. Because when you look at commercials, they're basically mocking all of us, laughing at us and showing how we kind of like can't think for ourselves and like we say stupid things. They laugh at that. So you had to create that sarcastic humor to flip it on them. So keep that in mind when you're decoding. And then once you can read through the lines, you're going to see certain smirks. Johnny Depp does a great job, by the way, because that whole trial, he literally was there to expose some human trafficking, if you were listening between the lines. And that's another story. But, okay, I've talked enough. I just wanted to make sure you kind of got a gist of like the big picture. And when you go outside now, I really want to encourage you, start looking around and paying attention to these things. Like literally, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. But let's get to Gematria because holy crap, okay, we're getting close. But Um, Gene Ho, George Magazine. I want to encourage the diehard people to go to George Magazine and go to the merchandise. And I'm going to prove it. I'm not going to bring up my numbers or anything. I'm just going to prove it to you. Every single cover were coded to explain what's happening today. Every single cover, every single article. Oh, and by the way, in John Denver's Newsweek article that he was in like the early 70s when I was barely like a baby, they leave keywords. They disguise it as entertainment, but they tell you keywords. They call him the Bionic Messiah. And all I'm saying is he said his dream was to fly up in space, bring his guitar, and sing to the entire world. If that doesn't sound like Jesus, I'm just saying. Again, character. Let's get to the Gematria. So I want you to write this down. It's called Gematria, Gematria, and that's your numerology. And you want to go to gematrix.org, and that is Gematrix. Did you see how matrix is in that word? .org. So that's gematria.org. That's where you'll be doing your decodes. And so when you do a decode, I'm just using this as an example, like you put your first name in, you're going to see Jewish, a number, and simple, and you want to use the results for, you're going to want to write this down, simple gematria results. So I'm going to bring it up really, really quick. How about you all pull up your phones really quick so you can take a screenshot where it is and kind of navigate through it. But yep. So I just put in a code because this is how my brain works. And we got Sundance Film Festival coming up 5 minutes down the road. And I'm like, I don't know. Something weird is going on. Like, that a lot of Hollywood isn't going to be there this year. Not to be upsetting anyone. They'd be like, oh. But when they find out, like, a lot of them are human traffickers and all that. But I digress. Okay. So type in your name. Just type in your name at the top and hit the calculate gematria. And what I want you to do, so I can share with you where to look. Now, there's a lot of truth to the other ones as well. Some of you may resonate more with some of those, but the universal. So this is a mistake to people. This is for all religions. There's that. But scroll down. So once you hit calculate, you scroll down. Do you see those bolded, the same title, but it's bolded and you see a number underneath and it says Hebrew gematria underneath whatever you put in? Okay, scroll past that one. Scroll past the English one that's highlighted underneath. So scroll past that one. You want to go to the one that says simple gematria. Do you see that one? So you'll scroll down. So basically when you scroll, that's the Jewish one. Scroll past that. And then you're going to see the one as you keep scrolling that says simple gematria. Do you see that? When you scroll down, it's going to be like one end of a column and then it's going to start like a new column for the simple one. Do you see that? It's okay. Take your time. I just want to make sure that you know that that's what's to look for. So, and some of you may want to write this out, not write it out, but remind yourself to, so you get the visual. So you want to write down your entire alphabet and then next, so A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. Okay. So all the way to Z, which is 26. So your letters break down to numbers and numbers break down to letters, which form sentences. And my point is there's a couple rules that I want to encourage you to write down is, start with your name. And I really want to encourage you, listen, literally, our thoughts are magnets. Listen to the universe. And if you hear something that pops in your head and you're like, where did that come from? Because I've done it. And those are some of the most spot on accurate ones. You're going to be like, oh. Okay, so the number one rule is do not put in number values when you're doing a search. You always use, so like, let's just use the example of 420. I could spell out 4 and I could spell out 20, or I could put 420. Also, 0 means nothing. But for instance, like for my number is 420. So I could still write it out. But the point is 0 means nothing. Okay, so there's that. And again, so for numbers also, like I said, you can't put the actual value into it. But if you want to not spell it out, all you do, let's just use the number 42, or let's just say 12. A equals 1, B equals 2. Do you see where I'm going? So the number 12, you would literally find the letter value. So you want to flip it. Does that make sense? It's really not too complicated. If you just write down the letters, you can do a quick one. And I'm gonna just give people the basics on it because I want you to get familiar with it and really go intuitively. And I want you to start literally doing some of the small titles at the bottom of the local news. That's where my best decodes are, because you're not paying attention to a lot of the ones on the bottom. You're listening to the person talk. Does that make sense? And then you're going to be like, I don't know what. We just don't know what time, but I'm just telling you. What I've decoded is something biblical is going to happen in Utah. You just have to say that. That's why you've got the Mormon church here. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. So I'm trying to give you ideas of things to decode. So I think I've kind of given you a good list. And test it out as well. When you kind of can wrap your head around the big story, the big script broken down. Now think about this. They were brilliant in the art of war, scripting in, and this is my theory I have that Jesus made with the devil, is they did a great job at showing the trends of the times, because it is statistically, scientifically proven that when someone is put back into an atmosphere that made them feel loved and safe, or like their childhood or something, they instantly are happier. So I think it was brilliant in the writing and how they did it, because but see, the flip side of that, and this is how Sharon's brain works, is and what I was taught and how to analyze all this, is that flip it though. So where was I? Someone just tell me what I just said right before I said flip it. I was in my Holy Spirit mode. Can someone, what was I just saying? Allie, help me out. What was I just saying?
I was
Before about
writing
flipping.
my numbers and letters, so I didn't catch it.
Oh, crap. Shoot. Oh, about the trends, about showing. Okay, so the flip side of it is Jesus was like, I'm going to bring you back to a time that made you kind of happy, or I'm going to bring you back to a time where there was a lot of war and so forth, like you saw. Do you know what I mean? But I want you to flip it. Jesus made a deal with the devil where he's like, okay, we're going to create this as entertainment, and it's going to be my script, because even though there's a lot of bad stuff in it, the truth is between the lines. That is why they always say it. And so much of your entertainment, you just have to read between the lines. That's why. But the flip side was Jesus is like, okay, well, we're gonna have to find a way to brainwash the people, and we got to sell your snake oil. So I guess we'll call those commercials. And we're gonna have people really, when they sit back to look at the actions of these people, we're gonna make them look so fucking stupid that like they won't even know that they're stupid. And I'm saying this straight from the heart. I'm not trying to be mean to anyone. That's what Satan is doing. And literally, why not pay high price for his snake oils? Do you get where I'm going? So there's duality in everything. Like in the spiritual community, we're always taught it's duality in everything. That's the art of war as well. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I gave you the rules right there, but I really want to encourage you. If there's a field of something that, like, some people may love butterflies, some people may love bugs or something, like every single thing was scripted even before we arrived here. Like, think about that. They had to come up with a coding system. That's why they created the movie The Matrix, to get people used to numbers. And it says right in there, G matrix. I think G, I think God. G, just saying, that's just saying. Does anyone have any questions? Because I'm sure a lot of you are like, holy, what did she just say? Do any of you have any questions? Crystal? Yeah. Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so so I pulled up my name. The symbol is 98. How do I know what 98 means? Like, I don't
So
understand that part.
Okay, yeah. So what you want to do is when you brought up your name and it comes out to 98, you can also spell out 98. But when you put in the words and you put in your name, all you want to do, and I wish you could see my screen.
Can't.
Can't see. Okay. But remember where I said the bolded line of what you just typed is right there underneath that says Hebrew, and those are the numbers. Go next down to the next one, boom, and there are your numbers. But you want to scroll down to pump up the volume. I was doing a code, but dance, pump up the volume. That's anyhow, it's a whole long story. There's your number, but here's what you have to do. You have to scroll. Here's your first set of numbers in your decodes, which are sentences. That's the Jewish one. Scroll by it, keep scrolling till you get out of all these columns. And then you get your simple one. So those are your messages. And how it was created is a lot of it. Think of it like this. It's a program, guys. Something is supposed to gravitate towards you when you're reading it. And I'd say approximately per page, they go up to like 100 pages. Some people could go down the big rabbit hole, and they're going to connect so many dots. And it's just like your intuition. You know how they always tell you, just go with what comes first. What was your gut feeling? Like, oh my gosh, did it remind you of when you were here one day, or you did that, or you saw that? That's how it works. It's a program. It literally is a program within a program within a program within a program. It's like, I love this stuff.
Can you
So
see
thank you.
mine? Oh, I guess not.
No, I can see it a little bit. Okay, yes. So you want to read on the left-hand column all the words and see what
Oh.
resonates. So intuitively, so it works this way. It's going to be intuitively and here, or you're connecting, or you're trying to connect a story within the titles of your news. There's going to be some pattern. You got to listen intuitively as well to connect the dots of what they're trying to tell you, like what's going to happen in a certain area around whatever time. But also what a lot of people are starting to learn, and we've heard that only about 1 to 2% of the world knows of how to use Gematria. Before the end of next year, it's going to be like the world, because it's the link to everything. And I like to compare it like it's your own personal tarot card as well. Spiritual community loves tarot. What if that tarot person, or whoever teaches in their modality, literally they are at the forefront. None of this corporate religion bullshit. They are literally at the forefront of being able to use their gift that they already have and add that gift on top, because now they can show their clients how to use it. And then that client is going to end up being a connection to the big picture of sharing their truth and how it all intertwines. This is what it's all about, guys. This is like the biggest freaking we are literally in the biggest universal movie since planet Earth existed. That's why no one wants to do anything stupid, because they're too scared, because like we're going to be living forever. That's why Freddie Mercury created that song. Do you see where I'm going with all this? It's just like a lot of John Lennon's music. Karma gonna get you. He's gonna knock you off your feet. He's literally telling Satan, go fuck off, because I'm gonna fucking get you in the end. And I'm gonna say I told you so. And they're gonna use your music, like all those little clips, they're gonna play it just like in your entertainment already. So you're already programmed to know how to make it, how it's gonna all operate. We are gonna have an EBS system. Don't panic, because when it comes up, it's gonna be a freaking beautiful new world. You're not gonna have to work your 5 to 7 freaking days a week. And the rumor is, do you want me to tell you what the rumor is? And when it comes true, you just remember who told you, because I want to help everyone. That's just like, I'm so passionate about this that I feel so humbled and grateful that I was chosen to teach this, to help people connect it. But shit. I don't know if I want to say that yet. But you'll probably find out my story very soon. And I want to thank you all for your time, for allowing me to share how this works, because you're it. Everyone that learns Gematria is supposed to pay it forward. Every single one of you. And however you want to explain it in your own personal way of what's, you've got all your spiritual, this is one thing, I respect everyone where they're at on their spiritual journey, because all of you are probably way better at other stuff. Like, this just happens to be my thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But this is like an add-on. In this 2025, your corporate religion is gone. Guess what's going to happen to all those Mormons? They have already been groomed to be servants of Jesus. When they find out the truth, they're going to be jumping on our community think tank like left and right. Those Mormons, they can start their own in their own city and state. They'll be the ones. Like all of you, if you live in a city and state, I'd say grab your name now, because literally you're going to be at the forefront of gathering the people to get off their freaking asses and start helping people. This is what we're supposed to do. That's what Jesus said. Just take care of one another. That's it. And they've separated us, and they've done a really fucking good job at it. Now it's time for people to stop hiding behind our screens as much, because they know when we're separated, it causes anxiety and aloneness. And that was intentional, and we all know it here. But that's the opportunity that's why I know God gave me this gift, because I don't care. I just want to pay my bills, and that's it. I want to give all my time back to humanitarian projects. And if you have one, please post it below this video. I want to ask you, I want you to write this down. So when I upload it, I'm hoping by tomorrow, if you have something that's in your heart, how you want to help people, tell me what it is. Because I'm going to get you in front of the right people when the time is right, because I got some good God connection. Because I have them on my phone. Don't ask. It's another movie within a movie. And I decode. I try to decode. Yeah, I said that out loud. Okay, so even makes me sound crazier in front of people, but you'll find out who my friend Jill is in that video. You'll find out who Mickey Q is that I have on that channel. You're going to find out a lot of things. And I'm just really, really excited that you're all here, because I get to share my journey with you, and you get to share your journey with me, and we all get to learn from one another. That's how we're going to make it work. It's the only way, right? Okay. I kept you long enough. I hope I gave you a ton of things to think of. I know your mind's going to be like, oh, shit, you'd be paying attention to the movies now, and like the colors of shirts and everything. It's total, all scripted. Oh, write this down. You gotta check this out. This explains a lot. And I don't mean to point like that because it reminds me of my teacher in freaking 5th grade, this big asshole who had small man syndrome with plumped up arms. And because I didn't do my homework after freaking conference, he took me out in the hall and he's like, I said that, but the movie trailer you watch, everything I just explained to you, I read through the scripts. I can already read through the scripts. Not all of them, because we all have our own story. But my point is I can already read through the script on certain parts they're gonna grab. Because I mentally talk to my higher self. I'm like, totally record that. And whatever happens out there and you're recording it, make sure that like you record it and get me saying that I'm recording it, so then people won't think that it's crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but remember I said that, because that's how it works. The movie is Wag the Dog with Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. They're telling you truth. Listen between the lines. You're gonna love the trailer too. And take everything, this is a perfect example. Take everything that they say in the lines and code it, telling you something. Like there's a couple lines. They're using entertainment to de-escalate how serious things are. There's a line in there where Robert De Niro, so basically it's loosely based on the fake news, is all scripted. And it's being done by godlike productions, like I already told you. And the point is that they have certain people. They're literally showing you the behind the scenes of what they're really doing in real life. And what I mean is they've got, this movie is an old movie. It's, what is it, like early 90s, late 90s? And they show you just like how they use AI now. They got the green screen and all that, and they literally mimic and script the news by the minute. And anyone that's cast in it, they have to sign an NDA. And he goes, and now take this at face value. The girl's like, well, what happens if I talk about it? He's like, we'll kill you. That's how it really works. I know, I just freaked out a lot of people, but read between the lines, because when the truth is told very freaking soon to the entire world, you gotta have humor, you gotta have drama, you gotta have gossip. What makes a good movie? Look at all of us. We're all freaking like, and oh, I'm gonna make my business her business, and I don't like you anymore because I got programmed to freaking hate people that don't want to wear a mask. You know what I mean? Do you get what I'm trying? Does I really hope I'm explaining this well, because God's like, you gotta explain it simple. So this is the only way I know how to explain it simply, where the everyday person can just take it as their own version. But I want to encourage you. Let me know. You're going to get 1 to 5 messages per page, and it keeps going. And I want to encourage you in the next week. Will you let me know how your mind is working? And if you're connecting dots in your own mind, because you're literally, your codes are coming straight from the big guy. That's basically what I'm going to tell you right there. I just said it. It's beautiful. All right. Well, I'm going to let you beautiful ladies go. If you have any questions too on the down low or something, leave me a voice clip. I do way better at voice clips, because ever since I went through the change, when I try to read something, I'm like, Jack and Jill went up a hill. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. So, and I'm more visual. So, all right. Well, I hope you got something to think about, ladies, because I'm about to blow your mind very soon. All right.
Thank you, Sharon, for your time.
Thank you. I'm really,
Yeah.
yeah, you bet. I'm just really excited that you're so open to it, because it sounds so freaking crazy, but that's what makes a good movie, apparently.
It's not crazy, and I appreciate your knowledge and for you to share it.
Oh, you're so cute. We got to hook up. I think we all need to start hooking up too. I want to encourage people, just let's start gathering at each other's houses like once a month, twice a month. Let's go find the others. Freaking start thinking of the new ways of how we're going to restructure everything, because we're about to be gifted this gift for every city and state around the world. Why do you think that people don't understand why You know, everyone's getting pissed like, oh, Trump's taking Greenland now, and oh my gosh, and Canada. No, he's showing you how one world is going to operate beautifully and freely. And I'm so honored that I know this. And I'm going to leave this here. Go check out my interview with Ishmael Perez, and you'll learn a lot about my story on the back end. And then it'll help you understand why I know this stuff. And did I post it in the group? If one of you can remind me to post it in the group, I'll post it in probably this tomorrow. When I post the video here or in our group tomorrow, if one of you could remind me to post my video there, you'll totally understand. And I can't make this shit up. And I'll even post the pictures and everything. Because Space Force is like, freaking Sharon, go Sharon. I'm like, I'm going to freaking do this. I'm doing this for God and Jesus Christ. I'm just saying. So that's why I'm here. It's going to be hilarious. All right. Oh,
Thank
Pat,
you.
did you have a question?
No, I was just, thank you.
Oh,
Top of my
okay.
hands, I just moved
Okay.
my pen. No, thank
I
you.
love
This
your
was very
tapping.
interesting.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you're open-minded to it.
Yeah,
Got to be better. You might as well make some entertainment out of it, right?
for sure. There's, we've been fooled for a long time, and
I know.
you know,
It makes me so sad, though, for everyone. Like, we all got brainwashed. Everything. And here we looked at our parents, but they were getting brainwashed before us. You know?
well, I think that's it. We know, but it's like, okay, but how do you wind it back? It's like, that's great. I understand it. I've understood it for a long time, but
That's
now
right.
what? How do you get it? How do you get rid of it?
You start your new communities. You get your
Yeah.
people back together and get off their freaking, I'm too good to help the homeless, or I'm too busy. Oh, someone else will take care of it. Well, clearly, if someone was, there wouldn't be any homeless people, you know? This isn't rocket science. I mean, people have been so deeply programmed, it just goes over their head, and you're like, oh, but seriously, what if that were you, you know? So, and the animals too. I'm going to get going on some of those rescue animal things because that's my passion too. So sweet dreams, ladies.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I love your castle behind you, Pat. See, I pay attention to those things.
Oh yeah, I have a whole Harry Potter basement, and that's my
Oh,
Harry Potter room. You're
I
not, you're
love
just seeing a picture of it. I'm sitting in my office, but it's a mess. So you get the Harry Potter castle.
I love it. I love it. You've got good juju. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, good night. And just private message me if you have any questions, okay? Because this is what I'm here for. I want you to really enjoy it. And it's fascinating stuff. It's just so cool. It just connects to all your history. And so, all right, I'm going to let you go, ladies. I got to go take a bath, and I appreciate your time. And also, I want to encourage you, if any of you want to get me to jump on and share this with any of your friends, for the next month, I'm more than happy to do that. You get me at least, 6+ people, I'm totally there. I'll take the time because, and then you can record it and then you can add your people. As far as I know on Facebook and all that, you can still add people to the event after the fact to look at the videos. Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
that's how we're all going to learn. And it's just going to blow people's minds. But I think they're going to love it. I'd rather think like this outside the box than being stuck behind a computer all day going, I'm so freaking awesome. I make $100,000 a year. No, I make $200,000 a year. And I don't own anything because I live over my budget and my car's still leased and I still have a mortgage. But I'm fucking awesome because literally I spend more time here than with my own family. So I really care about those material things. And do you know what I mean? People are just going to start thinking that train of thought. And it's just going to take a little time. And we're all here to help them because you're all chosen. We all went through something. And it's your time to shine. Like literally, we are going to be celebrating shortly for our ancestors and great ancestors. And like literally, it's gonna be freaking amazingly cool, far out. Like I can't even. It's coming soon. Oh, and I'm gonna give you a good and I got this over a year and a half ago. I got it straight from the top. And I told some of my friends, they're like, I'm like, I'm just telling you, I got it straight from the top. You can't get any more from the top than this. And it connects. The stock symbol is AG. Just open one, a simple account where you can do it. Most brokers, they won't do it for you because they're part of the system. They don't want you to know. AG, Silver Mining Majestic Company, that is what is going to be a big part of the backing of the Doge and all the XRP that Elon Musk talks about, and all of them now. So that was like a really good inside tip because I got like 7,100 shares or something. It's cheap now, but as soon as Trump gets in office, you guys, silver is going to skyrocket. All the big professionals out there are talking about it, except the ones that work behind the desk and are told what to do. Like, oh no, we gotta like, you can't like, yeah. Silver is going to be worth more than gold. And the evil cabal, I'm going to just call them like they are, the evil cabal, they literally undervalued silver because their gold was, they were going to take it. They undervalued it because it's way more valuable, because it has way more uses, and with Space Force and all these things that they're doing that you have no idea that's going on, they're going to need it. So my point is get it now while you can. And I know for sure that's fact. It's a fact because I just got my report from them. They're doing some huge changes on the back end. And it's like 20 something dollars now. It's going to go high. It's going to be kind of, I'm not going to compare it to Bitcoin because that was a Ponzi scheme for everyone to funnel their, you know, that's why it made so much money. Anyone got in on it, that's awesome. But my point is, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's going to go up high. And yeah, so just saying, you could say my friend Sharon told me, get in before, because then no one will be able to, it'll be like Bitcoin. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't afford it. Oh, okay. I was going to tell you a rumor. I'm totally overextending my time. Do you want to also know what's going to happen? And then you can be like, Sharon told me. Sharon told me. It's just a matter of time. Think of your humanitarian projects, but also it's just there. It was just there. It was just there. I can't believe I already forgot it. Shit, it was really good too. I think I was going to tell you some truth. Could be my gummy speaking to me. It was so good. Oh, the rumor. Okay. Banks. Everyone has recognized now, and I want you to raise your hand if you notice when you go to your bank over the last year. Have you noticed that they restructured it, or they call their people financial wellness consultants instead of a teller now? Because you're about to switch to a whole new financial system that's free from the Federal Reserve and everything as soon as President Trump is in office. And what I mean by that is the rumor is, so don't quote me on this part. This I do not know, but I've heard it. And when you do your Gematria and you look at the old entertainment, Trump openly talks about this back in the day. He's like, I think $1 million is good. I think everyone deserves $1 million. That's a cute. The rumor is for every person around the world who accepts the truth and they don't want to have their egos in the way and feel dumb that they got dumbed down or however they want to put it, they're going to find out that they were the easiest to program. So the tables are turning now. And the rumor is when the truth is told, each person over 18 is going to receive either $200,000 or $1 million. And there's so much money that he has gotten back for all of us. That's why they've all been capitulating to him all over the world, meeting big leaders and all that. He's literally creating these relationships. So we have a one world currency. So there's no more division. There's no more labels. Everyone can have their own. And so when people get that money, they have to sit with the financial wellness consultant. They're not going to be like, here you go. They're going to be like, no, this is like your one shot. If you want to open your own business and start your own dream or whatever, this is it. So don't go out and buy your Maserati or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, focus. And that's how you start a whole new world. And they speak in code that it's going to be just like those old movies that you see, like where you have little communities and so forth, and everyone gets along and there's peace and harmony. That's what it's going to be. You're not going to have to travel all over the place. You're going to have everything you need. That's why people, when we get community thinking tanks going and other people doing their humanitarian projects, is literally you are going to have people that are going to be like, tear up my lawn. I'll do the flowers. You do this, you do that. You know what I mean? No one in the community is going to go without when everyone comes together. I think that's pretty beautiful. No one's going to be starving. And let's be honest, if we're paying so much in our tax dollars, think about this, but we still have kids at school that are going without, and the school's not paying for it, but they're taking all your money. Does that even make sense? If they're supposed to be so good and our government is supposed to be looking out for everyone, it's just another shame label. And their time's up. So it's going to be amazing. Crazy times. Don't give up, because something big and beautiful and scary all at the same time is just about to go down. By the 20th, 21st-ish, maybe 23rd, but I don't know. Something's going to happen. So be excited, okay? You went through all this pain in your life and everything to be here. And if you get scared or anything, I want to encourage you to reach out to me, seriously. Some people may not get this, but you're going to be way ahead of the game just knowing what I just told you. With Gematria and all the connections. I'm excited. I can't wait. And then someday down the road, I'm going to be visiting all of you, sharing your Gematria and your niche and all that. It's going to be awesome. So, all right, ladies, I do have to go. And I thank you for your time. And this was awesome. I love your openness. So thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. I don't even
Bye.
know. Okay, end. Bye.